Yeah, welcome everybody to our new moon intention circle for October 11th. We are moving up toward that very powerful Libra new moon eclipse. And I just want to point out this beautiful kaleidoscope that Valen just added to the graphic today because of an intention that she did earlier with a person who happens to be a Libra who's in our circle. So thank you to all Libras everywhere for bringing us beauty. I have many Libras in my life. And welcome to our new moon intention circle. We, as usual, want to just quickly share with you some of the pieces that we're doing outside of circles. So Valen is, of course, an astrologer, and we have a couple of different ways for you to explore the magic of astrology. One is to look at your personal moon dance, and that's a beautiful thing to do during or before eclipse season. We're just about to hit eclipse season on Saturday, because you can see where those eclipses fall in your chart specifically, what areas of your life they're impacting, and really navigate those energies and use that leaping forward energy to its greatest advantage. So I happen to know that Libra is in my 12th house, so I'll be using the eclipse energy for that. I'll be in ceremonies, so that's one of the reasons why we're going to be doing ceremony today. I've co-opted a piece of ceremony that we'll be doing this weekend, or a version of it, and we're going to do that together this evening. And if you want something broader and deeper, and you want live interaction with Valen, she is running the Language of the Stars course this season. It is the first one. There are two right now and a third in the works. And it's really a beginner's course. It's an initiation into the wisdom of astrology, and it comes with recordings, with slide decks for every week, every lesson. I think there are 8 lessons in this particular version, and lots of support material and quizzes and that sort of thing. So I encourage you, if you haven't taken it already, to jump into that. And now I'm going to turn it over to Valen to share Zora's message for this particular moon with us.
So this is what was, whatever day I did it, yesterday, I guess, what came through for this group. Greetings. You're being presented with an opportunity at this time to step into a future that is not fully known to you and therefore requires courage, but it is your destiny. Recognize in yourself the places that have held you back or simply held you in comfort, but are now unnecessary where you are headed. These parts of yourself are never lost, for they are fully integrated into your experience. So there is no need to grieve the loss of these pieces of yourself. What is now being presented is a moment of change that can be embraced, for it will allow you to align to your best self, to your highest being, and to your soul's desire.
Oh. Just love sitting with that energy after you share it. It's amazing to me because, as I say every month, I get to read it in advance, and yet when you read it out loud, new pieces come out. So the new,
just like,
is that sorry?
Sorry, I was just gonna say, just like when I read it, same for me.
Right. And then if I go back and read it again, there are messages in the journal, of course, for the month and for the new moon. If I go back and read those again, something new comes again.
Yeah,
it's beautiful layered vibration that they offer. So the new moon, I love the new moon so much. There are a lot of full moon ceremonies out there, full moon circles, and full moon circles are beautiful, and they serve such important purposes. The new moon for us is about the potential. It's all about the potential, and potential is a big piece of this new moon energy in particular, potential and relationships. And so we're looking to the transformational frequencies of this particular time, and that includes the eclipse and the launching of the eclipse season, to offer us some fresh insights, awarenesses, different perspectives, with that opportunity to shed or release those outmoded pieces of ourselves that Zora was just talking about, and take on or don a new cloak, a new way of being, a new approach. And we're going to play with that in a little while when we do our ceremony together.
So looking at Libra energy in general, Libra is about balance and harmony in all things. So it's harmony in relationships. It's harmony in the beauty that you bring to the world around you. So depending on how you express that Libra-ness, it may simply be in having flowers on your table, something beautiful, adding that to your life. It's absolutely relational. So it is about diplomacy. It's about tact. It's about fairness. Libra is about having things fair and just and right in terms of relationships. It's about cooperation and being social. It's a social, it's where you engage with other people in any way, any kind of relationships. So that Libran energy is all about the other. When it is out of balance in some way, it can be, where the place where you become conflict avoidant or people pleasing, or even become judgmental about others, or indecisive, because once again, the indecision is usually, well, I want everybody to be happy, or I want everything to be just right, or I want everything, and not being able to actually make a concrete decision because it might upset someone, or just being too reliant on other people, being codependent, even just for personal reflection on who you are, looking to other people for that, which can be very challenging in being who you are if you're looking outside yourself to know that piece. So Libra in general is so much about how we are with other people, and that definitely comes up in this new moon. That's part of what this Libra energy is about for us for this new moon eclipse. So Libra energy assists in truly conscious relationships, manifesting beauty in the world. So again, going back to the harmony that you create, genuine cooperation, appreciating opposing viewpoints, which Libra always tries to see both sides, strong balanced teamwork, actively promoting fairness for all. There's a real justice, fairness component to the Libran energy, and harmonious social interactions of all kinds. So that beautiful, that harmony in all things is what's being created with the Libra energy. So this Libra new moon, which is on Saturday, and Eastern time, it's at 1:55 p.m. It is at 21 degrees Libra. So for anyone who has a chart in front of them, or has their own chart, they can look and see what is happening in their chart at 21 degrees Libra. And that's the course at the beginning that Sasha was talking about. The Moon Dance course is just, a webinar with lots of support material to just give you this information, very straightforward information that you could use to help know where that is in your chart. Because it's an eclipse time, it's about cycles of beginning and ending. And these can be sudden beginning and endings. They can be, they don't necessarily need to be dramatic, but they can set you on a new path. It's like a whole new something ends or begins. And there's a piece which is sort of interesting, that it's a total eclipse, except the moon is a little bit farther away from the earth than normal. And so we're going to get the ring of fire around this. Now, we won't be seeing it on the East Coast. Wendy, you might be seeing it on the West Coast, or Misty, you may be seeing, I'm not exactly sure what the exact path is, but the West Coast of North America will be seeing the eclipse. So you might want to check that out. So it's, there's the ring of fire, which I think I heard someone say this, or I read it somewhere. The idea that normally an eclipse is in total darkness. The moon blocks out the sun, so that we're totally in the inner, we're in the darkness, we're in the feminine, we're in the intuitive. But this time we've got this ring of fire. So there's a piece about our consciousness being engaged in this process. And because it's in Libra, we're getting a chance to reflect on what is out of balance in our life. And there's a whole theme, because it's South Node eclipse, which means it's a place about what are we letting go of? What are we releasing? What don't we need to carry forward anymore? So because of that, we can look at what feels out of balance for us and let it go. And relationships may be a big factor in this, but doesn't have to be. So there's any kind of old patterns that are disrupting your natural harmony, especially in relationships where we're keeping harmony, at all costs. And this can be an unexpected energy. And there's actually a couple of reasons for that, but eclipse absolutely can be unexpected. So there's a place where, as we're setting an intention for this new moon, it's almost, I'm sort of seeing it as holding it in an open palm without any attachment to it, without holding on to, just setting an intention and allowing the energies to unfold in however they unfold, because it may be totally unexpected. And the piece that you wouldn't want to do is grab onto an intention, because at this point we're talking about releasing. So your intention may be, I have easily and fully released, let's just say, a relationship that's draining or is creating disharmony in your life. So that's a piece of it. And the other part about the eclipse is that it's not going to impact everybody as strongly. Certainly it's more strongly when you can see it in the sky. So if you can see it, you're going to be impacted more directly. And if it's impacting a specific part of your chart, you're going to feel it more directly. So everyone's got their own way of interacting with this, but in essence, it's still a new moon, and it's like a potent new moon that's saying, this is a time to let go. This is a time to let go of all your old patterns or pieces that you're ready to release. So because it's a South Node eclipse, and the South Node says, what do I need to let go of to allow myself to move into North Node, my soul purpose? And North Node is in the chart conjunct Eris. It's about finding our courage to be true to who we are, and recognizing that sometimes that can upset other people. And once again, that's a challenge with Libra. Libra doesn't want to upset the natural order of things. But there's a place where, when you honor who you truly are, even if you're going outside of your old patterns and people are going, what are you doing? There's a place where that Libra energy can allow you to do that with grace, so that it's not as disruptive as just barreling through. There is some grace around this. There is a sense of harmony that's provided with all this Libra energy. So even if you're worried it's going to be disruptive, that Libra energy can help help you stand in your own truth in a way that honors you and also honors those who you're in relationship with. And knowing that when you stand in your own truth, you actually are building stronger relationships, because knowing who you are makes you be able to interact in relationships in a more authentic way. So all of that part is about moving into the soul purpose, and it's using that new moon energy to allow you to move into your future self with courage in a way that has some grace to it. There's another piece that's happening with this new moon. Mercury is also involved, and Mercury is about communication, and that is directly opposite Chiron, who is the teacher, mentor, wounded healer. And so there's an opportunity to heal through communication. So what does that look like? How do we communicate maybe something that's really been painful for us? And that opens up a whole healing energy with other people. Maybe that's even just reflecting on old wounds, and maybe old wounds in relationship, inwardly, and seeing what healing you're getting to do. So that Mercury piece gives you a new way to think about things, a new perspective on where we might have compromised ourselves for other people. So to look once again look at what our relationships are and how we're finding ourself, finding the way that we're standing in our truth and not overextending ourselves or not compromising to the detriment of who we are. And stepping into our own inner security and to be able to communicate that with others. So there's a piece about, the Chiron is the inner, the place where we have wounds, and we're actually getting an opportunity to see that in a different way. And that is our own healing. And that is where we can step into our own security. And the ability to communicate it, once again, Libra, with grace, in harmony, is going to be really powerful to allow that to be part of our healing journey. There's another piece about this eclipse energy that is sort of slowing us down. And so part of it is about taking the time to align to what is important. And that is because Venus is the ruler of this eclipse, and Venus is about values. It's about relationships. It's about values. So this is a great time to really pause so that we can start to think about, am I aligned to what's truly important? And going back to the releasing piece, what pieces can we release to allow us to be more aligned? What pieces are we continuing to work with that maybe can go now, and maybe we're aligned but aren't anymore? So there's a part about being deliberate, being discerning around what's important about your relationships. It may even be about financial issues in your life, figuring out what, sort of as you think about this, I'm going back to that, there's the Mercury, think about this with a level of precision and just taking the time to do it thoroughly. And that is going to be important so that you can actually say, this is the piece that I can let go of, and know in your truth, you can let go of it. And there may be a point where you feel, and this is really an energy of this time with Saturn's involved here, is what I'm doing worth it? And to relinquish what doesn't feed you anymore. And it's, once again, aligning to what's right, but then also recognizing there may be places where we're expending energy that just isn't feeding us. This is a fabulous time to kind of drop into that and allow those pieces to go. And with Saturn involved, it may take patience. Have patience. And I should have said at the very beginning, any eclipse energies that come up, we're in eclipse seasons for 2 weeks, new moon to full moon, solar eclipse to lunar eclipse, but the actual effect of an eclipse can take up to 6 months. So once again, there is an element of patience involved here. Things may move slowly, even though the disruption may set you on a new path. There may be things that you actually don't see for months down the road. There's another piece about the disruptive element of this, or the unexpected, and that is Uranus is involved, and Uranus is always about awakening and seeing new things in new ways, but it does it in a way that's disruptive. And the reason it's disruptive, it's like it shakes you up and say, okay, it's time to move out of this pattern. It's time to shift your energy. So that's what's happening again, which is the same as an eclipse, or similar to an eclipse energy. So unexpected energies offer insights and awarenesses into our authentic self. That's what Uranus wants. Uranus wants you to be authentic. And once again, how are you doing that in relationships? Going back to the Libra, how are you maintaining your authenticity? How are you being true to yourself in relationships? There may be insights around this coming to you with all this Libran energy. And to recognize that you may have to make shifts and adjustments to be true to yourself. And what does that look like? Once again, when you contemplate this, there may be pieces, old patterns that you're carrying that aren't feeding you in this way. So this is a really positive, energetic new moon that allows you to break old patterns, that allows you to step out of old ways of doing things, disrupting the comfort in some way, maybe, but this is saying, and this is who I am, this is what's important to me. So that Uranus is really asking you to do that. And the last piece that I've sort of pulled out of the chart is about diving deep into your own power. And that is because Pluto, the planet of personal empowerment, anywhere in our chart where we're learning about power, and it is basically changing directions. It's stationing direct, as I say, it's starting to move forward, but it's not going to move off the degree for weeks, and it only moves 1 degree in 2 months. So it's really, really slow. So it's really drilling down in its part of the chart. Anyone with anything at the end of Capricorn or the end of Libra, you may be feeling this more so than other people. But it's important to know that Pluto wants you to find your own personal way of standing in your power. Being authentically you takes courage, but it is transformational. And this is at an activation point, I'll say, to the North Node and the South Node. So what are we letting go of? How are we stepping into our soul purpose? How are we moving into the future? How are we empowering ourselves? Pluto is saying, you have to own your power. You have to step into this. You have to find that for yourself, because that is going to be what is going to allow you to have the ability to release things that you might hold on to for security in some way, have the courage to move forward into a soul purpose. And the soul purpose is always, when you think of the North Node, a place where we haven't been before. It's the leading edge. It's a new path opening up. So we're being asked right now to step into our personal empowerment. And once again, because this is Libra, and this Pluto energy is in an activating position as well for this Libra energy, it's partly about who we bring to support us and who we're in right relationship with that allows for personal empowerment. And that in itself might be a contemplation. Who in your life does not support that level of healing and personal work that allows you to come deeper into your own empowerment? That may be something that needs to be released. And who do you gather to you to support you in that? So those are sort of some of the key pieces that I pulled out. And I would say, because there's some disruptive energy around this, that to once again, to set your intentions for this Libra new moon, for about relationships or your values, and then almost like just release it, release the intention, just like releasing this, because there's a place where there may just be things that come up that you can't imagine from this perspective before the energy is shifted. So interesting, some astrologers say, don't set intentions with an eclipse because you never know what'll happen. I'm more like, open up to the new possibilities that may be coming to you that you can't even foresee at this point, and embrace that and go with things that are ending, and recognize that they are creating a new beginning for you. So I think that's the main pieces for this new moon.
Oh, so fascinating and powerful. I was just sitting here with contemplating this idea of preparing for new awakenings, and what does that look like, and what does that feel like? And for me, that immediately suggests the question of, how do I support myself? Mm-hmm. Right? If we're going to prepare for a new awakening, it's kind of like you're preparing for a journey. You're preparing to, travel to a place you've never gone before. So what are you going to take with you? Well, you're going to take some things that are supportive of your routines, of your personal routines. You're going to engage in activities that are familiar. You're going to, there are routines, I think, that we can. So if we take all of those aspects and think about those things for ourselves for the next little while, as this energy ramps up and we get some deep diving into things being dug up and old stories coming to the surface and new ways of approaching ourselves, as that comes around, I feel like ceremony is important, and circling is important, and journaling is important, and the rituals that we have that are supportive of our spiritual work are all really important. And of course, our people are important. And there's that Libra piece, right? It's like, we don't evolve on our own. We evolve in community in one way or another, right? Whether it be in that intimate relationship between two people, whether it be with the beings that we've called into our life, whom we care for, or who care for us in return. All of those are kind of elements. So I think that really brings to the fore exactly what we're going to be doing now, which is some ceremony. Yeah. Love those pieces, Velen. So powerful. Thank you. I'm excited. I'm approaching this eclipse with a little bit of trepidation, I have to admit. It feels very powerful to me. Maybe it's those hidden enemies in my 12th house.
Or maybe that you're Aries, so it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm feeling
I think that's why.
I'm feeling it. Okay. So for those of you who are here this evening, who are also feeling it, and those of you who are on the recording, we're going to dive into a mini ceremony. It's more of a personal ceremony. We're going to offer you this as a standalone resource that you can go back to, and you can look for that in your new moon archive, your library. We'll also post this to YouTube as always. But the key here is to move into a place of recognizing at least one area of your life that needs a little bit of renovation. It doesn't have to be all the areas. And, Librans tend to sort of be very hard on themselves. And so they jump onto like all the things that are wrong, that need to be changed. So I'm going to discourage you from doing that. This is really about one area. Just choose one area. You can do multiple areas, but do one at a time. I think that's really important. And we're going to look at our relationships because Libra, but we're going to look at our relationships with ourselves. And the two ways in which we're going to examine that are internally. So what's going on within us? So looking at things like our relationship to our own creative imagination, your relationship to your physical body, your relationship to your emotions. How fluid are they? How is that energy in motion? Is it in motion for you? Or is it getting stuck? And if it is getting stuck, where is it getting stuck? And if it's getting stuck in your body, then it takes you back to that physical body piece. Where do you have stuckness? Maybe just in this moment, or where has it been showing up for you in the last week or so? Or it could be an old injury as well that's come back to haunt you. What is your relationship with your mental clarity and your ability to make decisions based on that mental clarity? So those are kind of 4 general areas. And you may also want to look at that. And those in the tradition that I follow relate to the 4 directions. And in the center is your spiritual world. What is your relationship to your spiritual practice? So that's why I wanted to bring that up earlier in terms of getting ready for these sudden awakenings. What is the spiritual practice that you engage with that is most supportive for you? And it could be something really simple, like sitting at your kitchen table and watching the birds in the morning with your cup of tea or your coffee first thing. That could be your spiritual practice. So whatever it is for you. And then the flip side of things to look at would be your relationship to yourself out in the world or in that outer way. So your relationship to nature. What kind of outdoor space is available to you and how you engage with it. Your relationship to your home, your indoor space. Do you have a space for yourself in your home? Doesn't matter how big or small. Is there a space for you in your home that is your sacred space? It might be your yoga practice space. It might be your meditation space. It might be the kitchen might be your space because that's what feeds you literally and emotionally and spiritually. Your relationship to money, which is resources, which feed you literally and also figuratively. Your relationship to that support. So money as support, money as resource, money as a tool that allows you to do what it is that you want to do. And your relationship to work. That can be paid work, volunteer work, homework, housework, relationship work, however you define that, caretaking work. So however you look at that, your relationship with work. So picking, ultimately, you can do all of those, but just pick one, whether you're feeling like you want to do the internal piece this evening, or you want to do the external, the more outer piece this evening, relationship to you. And if you have your journal with you and you want to jot that down, great. If you just want to make a little note on your phone so you don't forget, great. If you have a steel trap for a memory and you don't need to write it down, great. So just be with that for a moment. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little journey into this forest clearing. In our mind's eye, in our imagination, we're going to use our imagination to journey together, to visualize ourselves in the forest clearing. And we're going to engage with a little bit of karma from the South Node, that Libra South Node karma. And we're going to see what comes up and see where it takes us. And once we've moved through that, we're going to activate the Aries warrior within. So the Aries warrior can sometimes be portrayed as a sword-wielding being. But I prefer to think of the Aries warrior as having a magic wand and to be doing internal work. So I like to think of the Aries warrior as the warrior within. And that's particularly appropriate for this new moon energy and this eclipse coming up. So we're going to activate that inner warrior, and you're going to find the piece that you're willing to accept in yourself. Everything's already there. You don't need to get it from anywhere. You're going to find the piece that you're willing to accept in yourself, and that supports this evolution that we're all going through, because this South-North Node relationship is for all of humanity, not just Aries and Libra people. Okay, so let's take a moment to settle in, just wiggle your tailbone and lengthen yourself down into your seat. And allow yourself to really feel your sits bones. And if you're sitting in a chair, just leaning back and really feeling the back of the chair against the spine and allowing yourself to be supported with that. So feeling seated and supported. Now wriggling your toes and feeling each toe land gently onto the floor. It doesn't matter if you're wearing socks or shoes or slippers, or if you're barefoot, all good. Wiggling those toes and allowing the toes to land gently onto the floor and feeling the balls of the feet, the heels of the feet, the outer edges and the inner edges making contact with the floor or the ground. And as you do this, notice your breath. It's coming in through the nose and out through the nose. It's gentle, cool and dry on the inhale, warm and moist on the exhale. Noticing the beauty of that breath, inviting that Libra kaleidoscope beauty in with the inhale and out with the exhale. And when you're ready, place a hand just above the belly button and below the rib line. So that's that solar plexus, that I am energy, that third chakra. And do a little circular clockwise rub, just a very tiny, comforting, supportive rub for yourself. This is where that warrior identity resides. Now, you may feel your warrior identity in other parts of your body, and that's absolutely okay. We're just focused on the I am for the moment. So feeling that. And then you're going to take two fingers, the index finger and middle finger of your other hand, it doesn't matter which one, and you're going to place it on the bone behind your ear, doesn't matter which side. And now you're going to breathe deeply into that I am presence and exhale deeply, in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel yourself being completely, utterly present to yourself. And after 3 breaths, taking the time that you need, you're going to switch hands. So the hand that was on the ear is going on the solar plexus, and the 2 fingers of the hand that was on the solar plexus now going on the opposite bone, ear bone. And this is helping you to ground and be fully present to yourself, really be in your body. Remembering that Libra is an air sign, so it can be really challenging to get grounded unless you do it intentionally. And that's why we're taking a little extra time for that today. We don't want to invite in all that warrior energy without being fully grounded. And that's a key piece for ceremony. Now I have some smudge mix here, which I'm going to light up. Just going to smudge you all intentionally and myself, and just paying attention to the energy of this smudge, the spirit of fire that brings the smudge into smoke, and to feel gratitude for the gift that these sacred herbs offer us this evening. And so just settling in, placing your hands wherever feels good to you, maybe keeping them on the solar plexus or just in your lap or at your sides. Feeling into the presence that you have with Grandmother Earth and her unconditional support for you. You never have to think whether or not that next breath is available to you. She's right there with the breath, providing water, providing food, animals for company, trees for company, and to clear that oxygen and make it available to you. With every in-breath, feeling that relationship that you have, inviting Grandmother Earth's environment into your body with every breath. And now we're going to take a little walk together. In our mind's eye, we're going to walk on a path covered in pine needles and soft beneath the feet. Maybe you're barefoot. Maybe you have some soft shoes or boots on. The temperature is ideal, despite it being autumn season, as it is here in Canada at this time. The temperature is warm. The breeze is slight. The sun is dappled through the trees. And so we walk through a forest. It's not a deep forest. It's not a dark forest. It's a varied forest. So many different trees, so many different bushes, birds, earth creatures, still the odd butterfly. And we walk slowly and gently together until we come to a slight clearing. And we step into that clearing where there are some logs that have fallen, and we find a soft place to sit, either on some moss or on a log, or perhaps even on a stone, if that appeals to you. Finding your way to a seat. And taking a moment to breathe in the beauty of your surroundings. Inviting the beauty into your body. And knowing that with every exhalation, you feed all that is green around you. And simply sitting and enjoying this symbiosis. And as you sink more and more deeply into your interconnection with everything around you, every buzzing bee, every land animal that has come to seek you out in curiosity, every leaf, every stone, every bit of moss and lichen. As you feel yourself truly being in unity with your surroundings, you realize the sun has set and the sky has darkened. And you turn your face toward the sky, and you begin to see the edge of the eclipse as the moon and the sun truly meet in the sky for these few minutes. And as you experience the beginning, the edge of this eclipse time, you consider these pieces that you may be ready and willing to release. Letting go of judgment of yourself. Releasing the denial of your dark side. Letting go of harmony at any cost, or avoiding conflict or confrontation. Releasing self-deception or a tendency to blame out. Letting go of any habits that you have of losing yourself. And over-focusing on others. Noticing how you sometimes close off from change or resist opportunities to change. Letting go of your crippling indecision or your over-compromising. Releasing your people-pleasing or your need to make everything nice all the time. Or maintaining harmony at any cost. Consider which of these pieces resonate for you most. What's really pushing at you? What really feels like it's ready to go? And there may be something else that's similar but different If there's an unskillful Libra energy that seems to be particularly challenging for you, consider that. And in this moment, know that all you need to do is inhale deeply through your nose and exhale through pursed lips, letting go, releasing that piece that no longer serves you. Inhale through the nose, feeling your interconnection with all things, and exhaling, releasing this dark piece, this shadow piece to the earth, allowing her to transmute it. And one last time, inhaling all that is available to you and supportive of you. And exhale, letting it go. And with that third exhale, opening your heart, perhaps even opening your arms energetically or conceptually or in this moment, actually opening your arms and accepting your Aries warrior within. Receiving your capacity to be completely honest with yourself. Knowing that you can bravely step out of your comfort zone. Taking a stand for your most unpopular perspective. Knowing that you're afraid in a situation, but taking action anyway. Challenging the status quo or making the first move. Leaping forward toward the new as the eclipse becomes fully itself and encourages you to leap, take that leap. Really receiving your willingness to make mistakes and just try again. Reminding yourself of that inner confidence that is created through mastery. Taking that risk and moving toward the challenge rather than avoiding it. Or reconnecting with your own innate enthusiasm. Consider each one of these powerful qualities. Choose one or more that really resonate for you in this moment, that you can really feel bubbling up from inside. The unconscious becoming conscious. The hidden becoming more aware. And know that this quality was with you all along, but only now, as we move through this eclipse time, it is being shown to you with much greater clarity. And so you can open yourself to receive it fully. And from this place of receptivity, we will set our intention and sit with the energy of this intention together. Feel free to make this your own in any way that feels right for you. My intention is that I am open to divine insights, easily releasing beliefs that block in favor of authentic actions that uplift and sustain me in highest health and greatest good for all. Okay. Thanks for being with us this evening on this recording, and we'll just wrap up with a reminder of how it is that you can dance a little bit more with the magic of astrology, really digging into what is happening for you with this eclipse energy and where you can set your intention, how you can use that group intention that we did together this evening to work within your particular chart, the area of your chart that is being impacted and affected the most. And we encourage you to do that. And thank you. Thank you for being with us this evening. And we look forward to seeing you again next time.